Welcome to Bearish. We're not financial professionals, and this is not financial investment advice. Enjoy the episode.
Wolf of Wall Street, The Big Short, and Social Network. Social Network, not too much, but it's still about Facebook.
Okay, so. I want to talk about the Social Network because Jared, you loved it.
Loved it.
I thought it was just like it was subpar. Like it was just not like.
What about it was subpar though?
I felt like I could have not wasted 2 hours and just sat there and read an article about how Facebook was made. And how Twinkle Winkle Dinkle got boned by whatever his
the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah,
He's referring to the
twins.
Winklevoss twins, boys.
Yeah, they got boned, and that's how you could have read an article about that. But instead, you watched a 2-hour movie.
Fantastic movie, by the way.
Just it could have get to the point. Like he screwed over the guys. Every other scene is them rowing boats. It's like okay.
Hold on, did he really though? Did he really though? Did he really what?
Okay. Screw him over?
Did he really screw them over?
Not legally, I don't think so. Legally, no. Ethically, yes.
Okay.
Ethically, yes. Legally, I don't know how he had to give him money in any way. But compared to what Facebook has made, he was just throwing him a couple bucks, which props to him.
Right. Well, I like the movie because, yeah, you could have read an article, but it was cool to visually see the making of a company. Like you literally saw like what he went through to make Facebook, how he did it, the amount of coding. You know, that was cool. Yeah, and then the lawsuit was pretty well. The movie was pretty much about
one disclaimer about the movie, which I've learned recently, is that they did an interview with Mark Zuckerberg about the movie. I think when it came out, they did the interview. And he was very honest, and he said, yeah, a lot of that was glamorized, as are a lot of things in Hollywood. And really, those scenes where they were actually in the house and they were like partying and like having girls over, it wasn't actually like that at all. And I can attest to this by actually seeing some startups and how they work. Usually they're just at the desk and they're coding all day and all night. And it's not very glamorous at all. Like they're all disgusting and they haven't showered and it's not very fun. And they're working constantly just to make sure that the business stays afloat and it succeeds.
Yeah, it seemed kind of funny the way they like portrayed it, in that it was just basically like these Harvard nerds just going batshit crazy partying, but then also making a social network that not a single person doesn't know what it is right now. I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. I felt like you could have read an article and you'd be like, cool, that's how Facebook was made.
Well, I mean, it's a movie. It's for entertainment.
Disagree.
Well, it's for entertainment, so just remember that.
Maxwell.
I was not entertained at all.
Well, let's give them a little background. So, the Winklevoss twins wanted to start they wanted to start a website called Harvard Connect, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it started as didn't it start as fine? Well, actually, the very first one, what Zuckerberg made, was basically like Tinder but for school.
Oh, it was Face Smash.
Yeah, but wasn't it like you just picked the hotter one and just two girls came up and you just picked one?
Yeah, and he crashed Harvard's network and all that stuff. But then the Winklevoss twins heard about Mark and heard about it. So they brought him in for like a business meeting or whatever. And Mark, I mean, they told them what they wanted to do, and then Mark was like, "Gotcha,
I'm in."
Then he went back to his
I'm in. Yeah.
Then he went back to his dorm, and pretty much didn't communicate with them and did his own thing and made Facebook. But to be fair, like I said, when I said, did he really screw them over? In the movie, he said none of the coding you wanted is in Facebook. Yeah,
he basically just took the rough like outline. Idea and just made it his own and did the coding himself. How they convinced the courts to make him pay him money is above my head. I don't really understand. Like,
was there any like official? Yeah, was there any official contract signed between them?
Yeah, like
that's what
NDA.
I never understood. I don't think there was. Yeah, I don't think there was.
I think they went off text and emails of the Winkle saying this is what we want to do, and then that was their evidence of like they stole his idea. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was pretty clear that Mark was stalling.
Yeah.
Until the Facebook,
launched.
Got launched and everything.
Yeah.
And then another part is he fucks over his best friend, which that made me sad. Do you remember that part, Max?
Yeah, and the guy came in and started screaming at him in the office, which he had every right to do so.
God, that was sad.
Didn't it start by him canceling the bank account of Facebook?
Yes.
And
yes.
then
so
Zuckerberg
this
got
was
mad and retaliated and blah blah blah.
That's what the
basically
movie.
like
What's this guy's Andrew Garfield?
He got nothing.
Yeah. That's what the movie. Yeah, we don't really know. Well, I forgot the guy's actual name.
Eduardo
something.
Saverin.
Yes. He was like the CFO. That's where Mark got all the money at first. And Eduardo went to New York while Mark went to
California.
Palo Alto.
Yep. Silicon Valley.
Yeah. And then so Eduardo was trying to get banks interested in investing and all that stuff. And then he met the guy from what's the music thing?
Napster?
Yeah. God, I can't remember the name.
Yes,
Sean
Napster.
Parker.
What was his name? Sean Parker, yeah.
Oh.
And Sean Parker got him interviews with banks and investment firms a lot quicker than Eduardo did. So Eduardo got pissed.
He became part of Facebook.
Cut the bank account. Huh?
The Napster guy became part
Sean
of
Parker.
Facebook, right?
Yeah. He was their president for a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
But pretty much, Eduardo got pissed, stopped the bank account, stopped the funding. Mark got pissed and had him sign a contract, and I guess Eduardo didn't read it. Eduardo signed a contract saying that when they were going to introduce more shares, the only person's ownership that would get diluted would be Eduardo's. So I think his ownership went from 33% to like 1 or 2%. It was so low.
Yeah.
You're muted, Max. You're muted, Max.
Isn't that kind of his fault for not really reading it?
I mean,
yeah, technically it is.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, technically, but Mark is a piece of shit for that.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
I mean, imagine what would have happened if he actually read the whole thing and found out that clause was in there. How do you think he might have reacted if he saw the whole thing?
Well, I mean, in a justifiable way, he would have been like, either give me more or I'm not doing anything for you. But at the same time, it's almost like it wouldn't have hurt Facebook because they had Sean Parker to go and connect them to banks. So I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, he would have kept 34% of the company.
Oh, true.
If he wouldn't have signed it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is true. It just seemed like a really drawn out way to explain what happened. I mean, yeah, visually it was cool. And then
it was dramatized. Yeah, they dramatized it to make it seem more interesting. Like I said, those parts in the house, not very accurate to what an actual startup does. So that's just one example of all the different dramatizations that they probably did in that movie. But it was kind of entertaining.
They also made it seem like it was all about a girl, just to get back at a girl. And Mark Zuckerberg said absolutely not. He was already with his girlfriend now, I think, when he made Facebook. So they made it seem like he was trying to get back. Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I mean, I liked it. Max, you didn't like it. Whatever. It's fine, dude.
Rating?
Logan, did you even see it?
Yeah.
Rating
I've seen it a few times.
What are your thoughts, though?
What are we giving it?
7.5.
Yeah, about
Max,
an 8.
What do you think? 5.
I'd give it
Personally, I love it.
I'd give it a 7, just because of those inaccuracies, that I talked about. Because that docks it a lot.
I love Jesse Eisenberg, so I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay. Fair enough.
Wow.
9.
Speaking of accuracies,
I loved it.
Most of Wolf of Wall Street is, factually correct.
Yeah, because that was based off of the book.
Because they based it off the book,
which was written by Jordan.
Right, exactly. Of course, they had to. The only thing that I saw that he was it wasn't entirely factually true is bro, tell me that's not sick though. He's just standing up in front of
Hold on. Do you know where that came from with Matthew McConaughey?
It was improvised.
No.
I read his it was, but I read his book Green Lights, and Matthew McConaughey actually does that in between takes to calm himself down. That's an actual thing he does. So when he was doing it in between takes, Leonardo DiCaprio was like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he told him, and he was like, let's do that. Let's include it into the film. So they did. And that's how it got into the film.
Sick.
Matthew McConaughey actually does that.
Yeah.
But I remember in the scene where they're on the boat and the boat crashes, and then the helicopter crashes. Like,
hold on, we're getting way out of hold on. Let's do like an overview first.
Yeah, I was gonna have myself.
Because people that have never seen it are like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like it was like a dogfight in the air, man. It was crazy.
So Jordan Belfort was like a stockbroker, and that's what Matthew McConaughey, he owned the brokerage that Jordan worked for. And then in 1987, the big crash that happened. 1987, yeah, Jordan got laid off.
Day, right?
A lot of was.
Like
yeah.
he was. I thought it was like his first week or something like that. He was training. Yeah, he was training, and then he passed his test, and he was able to go on his own. And that was like his first week. He was like, Wall Street chewed me up and spit me out, like in week 1.
Yeah.
And that was.
I know it was very soon.
Yeah, that was Black.
Yeah, that was Black. That was Black Monday. That was Black Monday.
Black Friday.
It just completely tanked. It tanked for no reason.
Shopping?
So they
I meant Black Monday.
So what happened then? Jordan went to work for like this really shitty looking brokerage in the middle of nowhere that focused on pink slips and penny stocks.
Yeah.
Looked like a laundromat guy.
Super unregulated, right? Pink slips and stuff like that.
Well, he asked when he came in, he was like,
because they're not very liquid. They're not very liquid.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, right.
And then he goes and sells like $250K worth. So
explain what a pink slip is and how that works, if you can.
It's just a list of companies. It's just a list of penny stocks
that aren't on the
couldn't
really
make it,
really cheap companies.
Yeah, they couldn't make it on the actual
the New York Stock Exchange, like right.
Okay.
They can't or the
they
can't make it on the whatever.
At least that's what it was back then, anyways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so he would pretty much hype these stocks up for a lot of investors to invest in, because these brokers make a commission off the investment that they get. And that's what Matthew McConaughey was talking about. He was like, if a stock goes from 8 to 16 and your guy is all happy, don't let him sell. Have him reinvest those earnings into another company so you get paid again.
Right. And
so, I mean, it kind of showed the shit part of Wall Street, to be fair. And so does The Big Short, which we will get to.
Right. At the one that Matthew McConaughey was running, he said commission was only a couple percent. I can't remember the exact. It was like, I don't know, it was only a couple percent. But these penny stocks, these pink slips, were 50%. So, if they sell $1 worth, they pocket 50 cents.
50 cents.
Whereas at the other place, if they sold $1 worth, they were pocketing a couple cents, which is
so Mike.
ridiculous.
At the end of the day, he could give. He couldn't give two whether the stock went up or down. If he sold $50,000 to a guy, he made $25,000,
regardless of the outcome.
and then said, "See ya." Right. Regardless of whether the stock goes up, whether the stock goes down.
Right.
And in the movie, it's hilarious. He's selling someone on it, talking about they have like the most technologically advanced systems and all that stuff. And it shows a picture of the thing, and it's a dude working from his garage.
It's literally just a garage. And
the sign,
it's a
the
garage.
sign's like hanging.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
What was it called? Like Pterodyne or something like that?
So
Aerodyne technology.
Aerodyne. That's what it was, bro.
And he was like,
it's an up and coming company. You gotta get in it. You gotta get in it.
Ever seen?
They're gonna use them in the military, and it's like, okay, they're gonna do that.
Yeah. So then Jordan made so much money doing that, he decided to open up his own brokerage and called it Stratton Oakmont. We all know I wanted that flag, but I got the stocks one instead. But I think one of us should get that flag. So really what Stratton Oakmont did, they focused like, I don't know if they focused on penny stocks, but they focused on pump and dumps. So they would have a lot of their capital, their own capital in these stocks. They would call up these investors and be like, you have to get in this. They would sell them the dream like they did at the other place. The investors would pour money in. It might have been penny stocks. I don't know.
Some of them
they would pour money in.
Just some of them were, and then they would throw in like Kodak and stuff is what they said, like recognizable, like they changed it along the way. They would throw in recognizable like blue chip type stocks, and then say, oh, by the way, now that you're buying Kodak, also what about this one, this penny stock one?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty sure
what it
they
was.
still got the commission,
and that's where the
on
money
small
was
ones.
made.
Yeah, they didn't give a damn about Kodak because they'd only sell a few of them. But then they were like, these penny stocks, though, you can really get a bang for your buck. You can buy 250K of them and then double, triple that value. And so that's where they made their
You're exactly
money.
right.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're right.
that was the illegal thing, though, right? them putting their own capital to kind of manipulate it and then taking their money out? I didn't understand what the exact illegal part of it was.
It was the pump and dump. It was
their
them.
Own money.
It was them.
You talking about before they got huge, or after they got huge?
Did they not?
During. I don't know.
But it wasn't like serious money then. But yeah, that was it. It was like I think in the beginning, it's what they did what you're saying, where they hyped them up on these big stocks. You know, they gave them the really good, recognizable ones, and then they went to the cheap ones and made money. And then once he got big enough, I think that's when they started doing the market manipulation stuff, illegal stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, because they would put their money into these stocks, these penny stocks, and they would sell these investors a dream, right? These investors would pour money in, the stock would shoot up, and then they would take their money out, and then it would dump right back down.
Unlucky, right?
Fucked a lot of people. At the end of the day, Jordan went to jail, and he had to pay, I believe the cost was $110 million to the people he fucked over.
Has he
And I
paid that
believe
back?
he's paid back $0.
Really?
I looked, because if you look up his net worth, he's like negative $100 million.
I don't know
he's
if
paid
that's
back like
true.
nothing.
Hold up, we have to look
How
this
does he
up.
exist?
Because right after we watched the movie a few weeks ago, which is like the 6th time I've watched it, I finally looked up his net worth, and it was in the negatives, and I thought it was a glitch or something on Google.
It's crazy because like he's talking about like the parties that he threw in the office and like the midget throwing.
No, he was ordered.
Like,
he was ordered to pay back $110 million to his customers, so he had to.
Imagine going to work and throwing little people around. Like, that was the type of life that he lived. And then just banging out drugs. And then strippers were in there. Like, he was like, that was all.
It's a very, it's a very different feel to The Big Short. Like, this is like, you know what The Wolf of Wall Street reminds me of? If Wall Street Bets was a hedge fund.
Oh, no.
That's what the Wolf of Wall Street reminds me of.
That's perfect. And then the Big Short is like normal Wall Street.
The Big Short is quite depressing.
It really is, because the whole movie, you want it to happen because you want the guys to get. Well, that's going to give it away. I don't know if.
No, let's go into it.
The whole movie, they planned it right. They knew what they were doing. They called it. They looked at all the financials.
What did they call, Max?
The 2008 financial crisis, the mortgage.
Yeah, they knew the housing market was gonna collapse because of the subprime mortgages. Yeah,
that was insane.
That's such a confusing topic to try and explain.
Here I'll try to explain it because I'm in real estate and stuff, so I kind of know a subprime borrower is someone who he's not good. They're not good with their credit, so they either have a lack of history or they have a lot of negative aspects to their credit, so they're deemed a high risk to lend to, so the interest rate will be higher. So when the 2007-2008 financial crisis was partly due to the dot-com bubble in 2000, because when the market crashed in 2000, the Fed, like they did this year or last year, cut interest rates. I think it was from 6.4% down to all the way to 1%, and this is normal, right? They want to stimulate the economy. This encouraged people and businesses to borrow money, spend money, and it also encouraged people to buy houses because interest rates are low, right? And that's what happened in 2020. The housing market boomed. So as more people are buying houses, more banks are lending money. The banks are making a lot of money, and then the house's price is going up, right? So what happened was the banks got greedy, and they started lending money to people that really shouldn't have been buying houses. They started making these mortgages a lot more available than they really should have been. And there was just no chance these people were going to pay back their mortgages. And the people, Michael Burry is one, or Burry, which one is it?
I think it's Burry.
How do you say it? Is it Burry? Yeah. He realized this and was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he sent people out to start looking at homes. And in the movie, they went up to this one guy, and they were like,
oh, that was Steve Carell.
They were like, is blah, blah, blah here. And the guy was like, because I guess that's who signed off on the loan, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, is blah, blah, blah
Something
here.
like that.
Yeah, and he was like, if you're speaking about my landlord's dog, no, he's not here. And it's like,
Right.
The loans that they were giving out to these people, you needed such little background check. The guys, the mortgage brokers that were selling them out, they knew that they didn't need any kind of credibility. They knew that these guys weren't going to pay them back. But the commission that they got it right when they signed the papers. So they'd go through, the papers would go through, and then if the next day they defaulted, it didn't matter to the brokers because they already got their money. So they were talking to like I think it was a stripper at one point or some kind of, was it not a stripper? Yeah.
Yep.
They were talking to a stripper.
She was in a ridiculous house.
Yeah, she was in a crazy house, and then she also was like, yeah, I got this home. Like she was like, yeah, I got 4 or 5 of these different kind of loans from the same guy, and obviously they're not going to pay it back, but that broker just banked how much money? They were just giving out loans willy-nilly, knowing that they weren't going to be paid back, but they just wanted their commission.
Did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Did not care.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it was just a matter of time. So before we get into any more, Michael Burry is a real person, and he made billions of dollars for his hedge fund, and he immediately shut it down afterwards because he was so upset with how Wall Street was working. And I don't remember the person Steve Carell portrayed. I don't remember his name.
So what these banks were doing is there's different levels or rankings to loans. There's like A, AA, AAA, then B, and blah, blah, blah. And the further you go down, like the Bs, and I want to say AA is the best one, or AAA?
AAA is the best
one. It goes AAA, AA, like A, then it goes B, and then all these Bs and everything.
And this is just a rating.
What they were doing, it's basically how...
A rating of the mortgage.
Yeah, how, quote-unquote, good these loans are. And basically what they were doing is I forgot what the word that they used, but they were packaging up all of these Bs and double Bs and
CDOs.
single As. Yeah, or CDI or CDOs or CDIs.
CDOs.
Yeah.
CDOs.
And they were called CDOs.
Collateral. I think is it collateral debt obligation, Mike? Can you check me on that?
I'll double check, but yeah.
I actually think you're right. But they would sell these off as a AAA rating. So they would package up all these garbage dog pile loans and sell them off to people as the best of the best that you can get. So they were basically like masking the actual shittiness of what these bonds are.
Were they only able to do that just due to the sheer amount of things that were in there, like all of them, so they could package it as this AAA?
Right. So
I still don't get that.
They got a bunch together to make it mimic
it was a bunch of illegal shit.
Yeah, it wasn't okay. They found a way to make money.
You can't really understand it because it was illegal.
Exactly, and that's what it was saying. It was like it turned into people, like they used like Selena Gomez in one scene as like in the casino. They were like, it was people saw ways to make money and started making up things, which is what these CEOs basically were. And they were like, I'm betting on this person. Like they did a metaphor at a casino. They were like, the person playing, this person bets on this person, then that person bets on that person. It was like a line of people betting on what is going to happen, and that was equivalent to these like CDOs. It was the long list of people just throwing money at it and just gambling, basically.
All of those CDOs that you just described, they're called synthetic CDOs because they're based off of an actual CDO. So
that's what the betting on bets was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's called a synthetic CDO.
A lot of them. Right, a lot of them weren't even betting on anything real. They were betting on things, like it was a long list of things.
They're betting on another bet.
Exactly, and that's what was going on. So what this Michael Burberry or whatever, that's his name?
Burry.
Yeah, what he did, I'm not good with names. What he did is he basically shorted these things, these CEOs, and said these things are going to fail.
No. He shorted. I don't know if he shorted the CDOs. He shorted mortgage-backed securities, which is what hedge funds held.
Right.
They were backed by mortgages.
Right. Well, what he did, he saw all these defaults.
And when they defaulted, the mortgages were worthless.
Yeah.
And that's why hedge funds got fucked.
And it happened in like a domino effect. Like the double Bs would fail because they're the worst, and then the Bs would fail, and then he was like, he used like a little Tetris, or what are the things called?
Jenga.
The tower thingy. Yeah, he used Jenga, and he was like, like at the bottom it was like this is the double B, and he would knock out that one. This is the B, and then eventually the whole thing would fall. The whole thing would collapse because all of these CDOs, they were made out of, garbage worth of loans. They would individually, they'd each start failing, and then the whole thing would topple down. So he shorted this.
That was Jared Vanette. That he was played by Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, basically
He's
what
the one.
did
He was the one that did
he
that.
shorted it, and because he did all the financial background, he in the movie it shows files upon files of him looking at these loans and people failing on him. And
here's my least favorite part of the whole movie, and to this day it wasn't, I mean, not even just the movie, just life in general, is how much trouble did these bankers and people get in?
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
In the
Zero.
movie, it made a joke
Government
about
bailed them
that. It
out.
was like, oh, and this
To
guy
this
went
day.
to jail, this guy went to jail, and then he was like, and that's what we wish what happened. Like, it didn't happen.
Yep. Zero. I think literally one person went to jail. But to be clear, Jared Vanette is a fictional character. He's based on a real person named Greg Littman, and that's who Ryan Gosling played. And Steve Carell played also a fictional character named Mark Baum.
Why'd they give them fake names?
Steve Eiseman. I don't know. Maybe
Everyone said I.
I don't know.
Sorry.
But yeah, but Michael Burry, he's real. He's a real guy. They were all real guys, just fake names. I don't know why. Maybe to protect their
Right.
identity or something. But their identities are.
As we all know who they play.
Right. I know.
Well, like we said at the beginning, it was a kind of a really depressing movie. And in the end, the guys that shorted it, there was like a group of like 3 of them, 4 of them. Well, actually, everyone started hopping on, but like the main like 3. They were actually like super depressed. They were in the casino. They were like, we're going to be billionaires. And Michael...
Brad Pitt. No, this was Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Brad Pitt was like, do you guys realize what you just did?
He was...
Yeah, he was like, you guys bet against the American economy. If this happens, we're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh.
He was like, if this plays out, people are going to be on the streets, hungry, homeless. And what it did, it played out. And these select few people were literally billionaires. Like, absolutely
Swimming in money.
billionaires. Like, they made such crazy amounts of money. And it was all because, like, the whole movie, you're kind of like, oh, like, I can't wait for them to, like, make their money. But then at the end, it kind of reels you back in and is like, this is the reason they made money. Because people were being crooked, and the American people now are in the American economy is now in a complete recession like we haven't seen in, like, years.
Yeah, and the people that caused it, the banks and the bankers and the loan officers and all that, none of them got in trouble. None
Which
of them.
were
None.
And it's
completely illegal
it
stuff.
really gave you a sour taste. It gave you a sour taste in your mouth about Wall Street, because that shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, money makes the world go around, and the greed in Wall Street is absurd. And it at the end of the movie, you just sat there and you're like, man, that's how it works. That's how it really works. Like, these banks and these hedge funds, all they care about is money.
Right.
Yes.
Money.
And
They don't care about, like, the people and the jobs.
They knew what they were doing.
Like, that's what. Yeah, shorting a stock is the same way. Like, it feels weird when you do it. Like, you're betting on that company to fail.
Yeah, that's what I hate.
It's crazy because like 2008, they mortgage brokers and bankers and stuff were probably considered a high class job. A lot of people wanted to be it. And then post 2008, these guys were hated. They were disliked because of all the crooked behind the scenes stuff that they were doing, which then made the whole economy collapse. It's a good movie, but it's kind of sad in the end, just because everything kind of comes together. But you knew it was going to happen the whole time.
Right, like you said, Max, you were like waiting for it to happen. You were waiting for the market to collapse and these guys to get rich. And then once it happened, like, the movie did an amazing job at making it like how it is. Like, it's
like
sad.
you realized it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you realize it kind of made you realize that money didn't mean shit in this situation. Like, this was about the people of this country getting absolutely railed by the financial system.
The visuals in that movie
gosh.
and the way it was directed, I think, was one of the better movies that I've watched, just because it made it feel so real. And then about halfway through the movie, the Michael was, I mean, his plan was starting to come together, but it was kind of biting him in the ass, because he was like, these loans are failing, but the rates are going, like, backwards to what they should be doing. And I don't know if this is because a lot of crooked stuff was happening behind the scenes. I think it is. I think banks saw it coming and were trying to save themselves. And Michael Burberry knew it, and he was
Michael Burry.
Right, Max. Michael Burry.
Michael Bailey. Michael Bailey knew it, and so
we went to high school with this dude.
I don't know his name. So
college for a few years too.
Anyway, they knew it was happening. This guy was getting so pissed because he ran a hedge firm, and all of his clients were leaving. They were like, "You're losing me millions on millions of dollars." And
they were like, "Give me back."
And they were like, "I'm leaving." He sent out an email and he was like, "I'm freezing everyone's account. I'm not letting it out. I know this is going to happen. You're just going to have to wait it out." And what made it even more frustrating is the banks were really just trying to save themselves and get themselves out first before
they were trying to get the same thing. So what these people bought were credit default swaps. I believe.
Yeah, that's what they were called.
Something like that. And the banks were trying to get their hands on them. Yeah,
because they knew it was going to happen. They knew it was going to happen all along.
Yeah.
They just didn't care, and they knew they weren't going to get in trouble.
Yes. So Steve Carell's guy, I guess his name in real life is Steven Eiseman. Let me make sure. Steve Eiseman. This guy, he hated banks. In the movie, he hated banks, despised them, despised hedge funds. Pretty much worked on Wall Street, but despised Wall Street, which was ironic. And the reason he got into this short position was because he wanted to fuck the banks. And when at the very end you see him, he's sitting on a balcony, talking to one of his coworkers, and he was like, "None of these bankers are gonna get in trouble. Nothing is gonna happen to them."
Off their back.
And it was a real sad moment.
The banks just closed. That's pretty much it. That's really the only negative.
Some of them,
happened.
yeah, some of them. Yeah, some of them.
Before we all get depressed, we have to rate Wolf of Wall Street and The Big Short. Wolf of Wall Street. Since, like Max said, I'm pretty sure it's based on... I mean, obviously, there's some Hollywoodization and dramatization and stuff like that. I'd still give it a 9.5.
Bro,
it was a good movie.
10. It was great so movie. Good.
The thing is, I feel like Wolf of Wall Street and The Big Short, I would rate them very high each, but both for different reasons. The Wolf of Wall Street, you could feel the energy of the movie. You felt like you were part of the whole firm and everything. It was awesome seeing the roller coaster of emotions and what's his name? Jordan Belfort, the guy who played him. I can't remember his name.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
How dare you?
Played the part so well. His energy was ridiculous.
Yeah. Great
it
actor.
made you feel like he was on drugs and you were there with him partying. For that reason, which is amazing. No. But on the other hand, the Big Short, the guy who played Michael Bradbury, just played it so good as well. He was a weirdo outcast.
Christian Bale. That's Christian Bale.
Yeah, he was a weirdo outcast, and Steve Carell was a weirdo as well. I'm I don't know. It's just the way they played their weirdo parts.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Great cast in that. Wow, great cast. Brad Pitt,
unreal
Christian
cast.
Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling.
I'd give both of them a 9.
I'm gonna have to
different reasons, for completely different reasons.
The Wolf of Wall Street, I'll give a 9.5. We'll go with 9.5 because Leonardo DiCaprio is amazing.
Yeah.
The Big Short's a 10.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
No doubt in my mind, it's a 10.
It was emotional.
The Big Short's a 10. It's the best movie.
It was emotional because it
Mike,
really showed you what was happening.
Oh, I said 10 for Wolf of Wall Street because, as a film, it was pretty cool. Martin Scorsese did an amazing job with it. But also, Leo carried that thing super, super well. And even his supporting cast members did a really good job.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, he did.
Jonah Hill did great, bro. Yeah. Mike, Big Short.
Big Short.
I think, as a film, it would be definitely a 9 or a 9.5, something like that. Although I have one thing to say about, it's kind of biased, and here's why. I watched a documentary from HBO explaining the government side of how this all played out, because while this was all happening, the government had to bail out, of course, the banks, right? In order for basically the entire economy not to collapse. And the way that they portrayed it in that documentary was that it was either we bail out the banks and we have a hard time, like it really crashes, but it doesn't completely collapse, or we don't bail out the banks and then the entire world economy fails. At least that's the way that they portrayed it in the documentary. And apparently in the documentary, they were describing, like, all the people who were involved with it described the experience of going to the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Secretary told them, like, you're going to take this money from us, and they didn't have a say, like, they had to accept it. At least that's what they portrayed in the documentary. I don't know if they actually had to. Maybe they were under some pressure. So
either way, it's a tough feeling to know that even though those guys fucked America,
no trouble,
they were the only ones not to get,
But what's
basically
what would be the alternative is the question. It's like, they got out squeaky clean apart from like a few people, and then a lot of average Americans failed. But imagine if the entire world economy had failed, what that might have looked
right.
like.
But you're absolutely right.
You can bail out the bank and still
send
bring
people to
justice
jail.
to the people that did it.
Right.
Like,
that's fair. Yeah,
it felt
I
eerily
don't know
similar.
about that one.
It felt
auditing.
eerily
I don't know
similar
about
to
that
what
one.
hitten with Robinhood, to be completely honest. Like that's
I
a
was
totally
gonna say
separate
that.
point. But it's just like, how do you? Robinhood built
Absolutely.
their whole theme and their positioning in the market as a free market, and we're trying to make the small guys heard.
Again,
And what did they do?
Like,
I want to play devil's advocate.
how cheated did you feel
it was ridiculous
about that?
It's literally like they grabbed money out of your
not
pocket.
even about Robinhood, but how cheated, like how mad were you at the hedge funds? Because they shorted it, then got screwed on the short, then did it to where the price would go back down so that they could buy in and do the opposite, and then make the stock go back up.
They probably made more money. You know what I'm saying? Than what they.
It's so bad.
Again,
it's just
Exactly.
That's, I mean,
and no one gets
like
in
you said, Max, Max, like you said, it's very similar, and they're both very similar in the sense that it was right in front of everyone's face.
Oh,
Yes.
and everyone
like it happened,
knew
like
what was
you
going
saw
on.
it,
It's crazy.
you knew what happened, but you couldn't do anything about it, and you knew nothing bad was going to happen to them.
It's actually kind of mind blowing. It's
And
like,
just imagine that, but in 2008, and you're losing your house, and you're like,
and you're
man,
homeless
these,
and hungry.
these dudes.
It's like seeing a crime, and then the government and police seeing the crime too, and you're looking at them like, "Are you going to do anything?" And they're like, "No."
And then they look the
We're
other
going
way.
home.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Again, devil's advocate.
Go ahead,
If they
Mike.
didn't do that, if they had let it go, Robinhood probably would have gone out of business because they didn't have enough capital to pay off the trades. So you either let the whole platform die, or you let a few people. Again, it sucks. Nonetheless, there's nothing wrong.
I agree.
But it's either you let the whole thing die, or a couple of people get screwed over, for lack of a better term.
Short answer to that. What I say to that, you made this platform. Understand what this platform can turn into and create, and possibly put regulations on it and precautions before any of that kind of stuff happens. And also with the whole shorting thing, with GameStop individually, 120% of their shares were shorted. That is more shares than are even in regulation. How that is able to
absurd.
be accepted and done, you should know. Say the what the shorts wanted to happen actually happened. There's not even enough shares to fulfill all the orders that were that were placed. So it's like you're almost. I don't even understand how to put it. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you know what's gonna. You want something to happen, but then when it happens, you're like, oh wait, we didn't actually think that was gonna happen, or you know, like it's like
and
Right.
this
it's crazy.
Mike, your devil advocate points are like completely valid for both scenarios, but either way, there was
It's just
wrongdoings. There was wrongdoings in both scenarios, and the fact that nobody's gone to jail for this Robinhood thing is still crazy. And we talked about this last episode. They did not have to stop the buying. They could have halted it.
Which is normal.
Altogether.
They could have halted the stock.
That happens
Exactly.
normally.
They could have just halted it, but instead they said you can only sell. That's
what makes it
Doesn't
sketchy.
make sense.
completely
That's what makes it sketchy.
completely messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But you can only halt it so many times.
So your devil advocate points is.
But you can only halt it so many times, right? Before you have to let it keep going.
He doesn't mean. I mean, he doesn't mean they halted. He's saying the people that run Robinhood didn't have to halt the actual stock. They just had to halt trading on their platform. But how can you halt buying but not selling? That's what we didn't get. Like, it doesn't make sense.
If they could force it to only sell for as long as they did, which was like a day or two, they can halt it for a day or two.
Take both away. Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's a different story.
And the most annoying thing is no one's getting in trouble.
Nope.
No one will get in trouble.
And then
it's not gonna happen.
And then someone tried to sue the guy that made tons of money off of it, saying that he did market manipulation.
Right.
Like,
roaring kitty.
Bro, are we ever gonna win? Are people that aren't already rich ever gonna win?
Exactly. And that's what's annoying. Even though, Mike, again, your points are very valid and they are correct. However,
it's still sketch. It's still sketch. There are some things about this that are very sketch in both scenarios. I think, like, you would imagine after the Big Short situation, you would imagine that they would have done an entire audit of the whole situation and then found the responsible parties and then dealt with them. I don't know if that was actually done or not. Maybe it was, and we never heard about it because the media did not cover it. And the same thing with Robinhood.
Clearly not.
I think the Robinhood situation, according to the CEO, they're trying to figure out how to avoid this situation again in the future. But it happened. It's over. But they should still investigate it and make sure that any wrongdoing is dealt with, of course, within the SEC rules.
I think a big problem was a lot of these people were trading on margin.
Oh.
So it was money they didn't actually own.
That's why.
So I think Robinhood might, increase the standards of people that are allowed to trade on margin.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, they made a platform that it was able to do this, so people are going to utilize the options that they put out. And if you're scared of that actually happening, then right at the beginning, the foundation, put some kind of regulations on that before people actually get into it and then are screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they made the platform to be able to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting with startups. I think I don't know if they would be considered a startup still. I think they're like a unicorn at this point. They're pretty big at this point. They're generating a lot of revenue. But I think the common, maybe Logan, you've heard of this, Max and Jared too, but you've probably heard about like the startup mentality is to move fast and break things. At least that's how Facebook operated. But they got in a lot of trouble because of that. I think as a financial technology company, Robinhood hasn't been able to do that too much. So I don't think they're in the same boat as like a Facebook, where they might have made some very, very poor decisions about privacy or some other features that made people upset. But they definitely made a mistake in some regard that has made a lot of people upset. And the only thing that they can do is move forward and fix it and don't let it happen again. Because if it does, I mean, a lot of people are going to be very, very angry.
To their credit, it hasn't happened again. And we've seen a few of those. GME blew up again. AMC blew up again. Tilray blew up. Sundial blew up. A lot of these. RKT just blew up. And it hasn't happened. So,
I guess they learned.
Good for them. Yeah. Hopefully.
Right. We'll see.
I did.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Mike, out us out, my guy.
Will do. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to leave a like. It really helps us out. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notifications straight to your phone whenever we upload. If you're listening on audio, don't forget to follow us on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That also helps us out a lot. Finally, if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to ask us questions and chat with us, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and what's the last one? TikTok. I always forget them. Follow us on all those platforms and hop on our Discord server so you can talk with us, ask us questions.
Hell yeah.
And we can have a great time in there.
Hop us. Hop
exactly.
us. Hop on.
All right.
Hop on us.
Hop on us.
Also join the Discord.
Hop on us, boys and girls.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll talk to you later. Peace.